Hey everyone, it's Emma. Today we're going to be talking about a moment in Formula One so groundbreaking, so iconic that no one can forget it. Just kidding. Today we're talking about an interview in 2016 from Monaco that Lewis Hamilton probably forgot about, and he's in the interview. It's such a great example of how absurd some of these Formula One sponsorships can be and how awkward it can be for these drivers. Even someone like Lewis, who at the time was not a 7-time world champion, but, was about to have his career ruined. If you're new to cafeing with me, grab your favorite caffeinated beverage and join me for a discussion on Formula One fandom stuff, I guess, because I'm not smart enough to go through all the engineering stuff with you guys. We're just gonna have to settle for the petty antics of PR and celebrityness. Two things I am very good at because I've worked in the film industry for the past 5 years, around celebrities, around PR people, and Formula One is just a treasure trove of inexperience in these fields and masterclasses. So join me today as we talk about Lewis Hamilton in a 2016 Monaco interview where our journalist friend Robin gets very up close and personal with our favorite 7-time world champion. Okay, with our 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton. Not horrible today. So if you've watched Formula One for any length of time and you've watched things outside of the race, you're probably pretty well aware that these drivers don't exactly enjoy talking to the media.
I don't have your number. I don't want it. So...
Like I said in the beginning of this press conference, I got really tired of all the questions, so I think if I get a few more, I'll headbutt someone.
No answer. Fair enough. Okay.
Personally, I think Lewis handles media pretty well for someone as popular as he is. If you've ever seen him on track before, he is surrounded by people at all times. And yeah, he's a celebrity and he's like probably the most well-known Formula One driver on the grid at this point. But he's there to do a job, He's got to drive the car, he's still got to do everything. And being hounded by media doesn't make that job any easier. So I found this article kind of in the weird internet wormhole. Honestly, I couldn't tell you how I came across it, but I'm really glad I did. It was written for a website called Man for Himself, which is evidently working with L'Oreal in some capacity because the whole interview centers around this L'Oreal Men Expert skincare line. This article is just so strange. Even the title, it's really clickbaity for some reason. It's titled, "It Killed My Hair. Lewis Hamilton interview," which I don't think is the flex that this guy thinks it is, because if you're working for L'Oreal and you are supposed to be promoting skincare and hair care stuff, why would you title the article "It Killed My Hair" and then be talking about your brand's skin and hair care stuff? I don't think that's gonna do what you think it's gonna do. This quote refers to when Lewis dyed his hair bleach blonde, which definitely was a look. I think people can pull it off. For example, Maluma, I don't know why I said his name like that, Maluma did it recently and homeboy looks real good. Lewis's hair, I think, just wasn't in the right season for this kind of look. It kind of looks like it scared itself into retreat, especially with the way he styled it, just like standing up on end. But evidently it was a big enough shock back then that you could write clickbait about it. So the key player here, aside from Lewis, obviously, is Robin, who is the interviewer for Man for Himself. Robin openly admits in the very beginning of the interview that he has never done anything with Formula One before. He has no idea what goes on, and he's super excited for Lewis's win. Which, how cool would it be to become a Formula One fan getting this awesome opportunity in Monaco? But, if they want me to go interview Lewis Hamilton after Monaco for a men's hair care brand, I'd be pretty happy to do that. You can call me anytime. I'll go to any race. Any race I would go to, and I will do a men's hair care interview. And it will probably be longer and more informative than this one. Just saying. The best thing about this interview isn't Robin, our journalist, himself. It's just this whole aura of what's going on. Robin really likes Hamilton, and I'm sure when you get to interview the race winner and everyone's like freaking out about this the night before and freaking out about it during the race, you're gonna get excited even if you don't know who Lewis is. But look how close this man is. This is what I'm talking about with Lewis's force field. There's like exactly 6 inches of space between him and this dude in every single photo. And Robin is doing everything he can to invade Lewis's personal space as much as possible, but he cannot get any closer. There's just no, like he can't do it. Lewis is just exuding this energy of like, you cannot get closer than this, which I'm sure he's honed this power, because I don't think it would be possible for anyone to get within 3 feet of Lewis Hamilton without a written permission at this point. But Robin, he got there, man. I mean, look at his eyes. Like, what is this man doing? And I'm sure Lewis's publicist is like, who let this man here? And Robin's also, he makes it pretty open that he's very curious about what Lewis has been up to since winning. He kind of does that thing where if you've ever been talking to someone and they make an assumption about you and just say like, oh yeah, well, I know you like parties. No, I don't. Like, who's telling you this? He just kind of says like, you look fresh after a heavy night out. Was he with Lewis Hamilton partying in Monaco? Not saying Lewis didn't party in Monaco, but why you gotta say it like that, dude? And then he kind of like complains to Lewis about, wow, I'm so tired. I don't know how you keep your eyes open. Dude, you're in Monaco. You just attended like one of the coolest races on the Formula 1 calendar with this view. And look at this. And you probably got to go to at least one cool sponsored party, because L'Oreal would not rent this apartment and not throw a party. I've talked to someone who was invited to Monaco and watched the race from a yacht. And like, as much as we all want to watch the race from a yacht, apparently it's not as cool as it sounds, because when you're on a yacht, you only get this much room to actually watch anything happen. So this guy, he said that he didn't even get to watch the race because all he could see was like 100 yards of track. This guy, Robin, our journalist Robin, he got this view. Look at that view. You can see things happening. Even though there's never any overtakes in Monaco, you still get to see an actual race going on. And now he's got his little spritz, his little, I don't even know what kind of drink, fruity little thing. And you're sitting like a very aggressive 6 inches away from Lewis Hamilton, the race winner, on his yacht. He doesn't get to complain is what I'm saying, because I don't care any context, you don't get to complain. Take a look at the skincare line. I don't know what it is with Monaco about packaging, but apparently you're like not allowed to have anything cool unless it's in an equally cool suitcase. I want to know who was like, yeah, let's put all of this stuff in this custom-made suitcase and we're gonna custom cut foam, put everything in for skincare that costs 10 euros per bottle. That you can't even really see in this photo, but like, cool for you, I guess. Maybe it's just a Monaco thing. So whenever I read interviews or whenever I see celebrities talking, especially to sponsors, I look out for them avoiding answering things and if they actually like are using the brands that are sponsoring them. And Lewis definitely doesn't use this stuff. I don't think it's any secret that a guy who's worth $300 million is not using L'Oreal Men Expert skincare, but usually a journalist can kind of like finagle their way into getting them to admit using one product, which I guess Robin succeeds at, but if you read the fine print here, he doesn't really. And Lewis has amazing skin, so I assume this guy probably uses $600 snail mucus moisturizer that comes in a little thing like this big that makes your skin glow. Lewis does an expert job of avoiding associating himself with any of this skincare. He mentions using one product, which is the anti-fatigue cream, but he really only mentions that he put it on that morning, which in celebrity words means his publicist was like, hey, we have an interview with Man for Himself today and they're going to ask you about L'Oreal products. Can you please use one so we can have a quote? And he's like, yeah, sure. After his like super tough night out, after winning Monaco. And he pretty much doesn't answer any of the grooming related questions. Like, he's asked, do you have any pre-race rituals or grooming routines? Do you have to drink a certain amount of water? First off, Robin, why would you ask those two questions together? Because Lewis can totally outmaneuver you, which he did. Lewis goes straight to answering the question about the water first, and then goes, oh yeah, well, when you're racing, your hair gets sweaty. unless you're Carlos Sainz.
How fit are you? You're not even sweating. Look at that, your hair's dry.
No, man, it's easy.
I'm sure people kind of touch up their makeup in between, whether or not we see it on camera. Maybe not for the podium stuff, but definitely for like press stuff. It's just how it goes. But maybe not. Maybe Formula One's cooler than I think, which I wouldn't be surprised because I freaking love Formula One. And just judging from the length of this interview, I don't know if Lewis's publicist was like, hey, we only have 5 minutes for this or something, but I don't even think Robin probably got halfway through his drink here, even though he really tried to do everything he could to stay on this yacht, apparently. I mean, look at the way... This photo makes me uncomfortable. It just makes me uncomfortable that someone would be sitting this close to any human. It bothers me. I think we all need to appreciate the cringe here. We'll never get a glimpse of something like this again. I mean, yeah, there's some press conferences where Lewis gets testy or whatever, but he's pretty much mastered not being awkward. And I don't even think Lewis is being awkward here. If you look at this photo, you can see it in his eyes that there is a look of what the hell is going on, save me please, but it does not really reflect in his body language at all, which like kudos to him, because I would be probably just against this far side of the couch. And now Lewis is sponsored by like cool luxury brands and doesn't really have to worry about that because he's a 7-time world champion, and like what are they gonna do? Fire him? And I don't really think any journalist for any magazine ever is going to be allowed just this close to Lewis ever again. Robin was tantalizingly close to crossing that line, but only the fragile stem of his wine glass was able to brush greatness. Friends, thank you for cafeing with me today. I know this interview was a bit of a wild ride, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't exciting to you as it was to me, but finding this, I mean, just again, look at the photo. So I'm just gonna keep making content, pretending that you're a human being and not a camera, because this is how Formula One feels for an American fan. You only get to see it through the lens. Unless you go to the US Grand Prix, which, let me tell you, if you have not gone to a Formula One race and you're an American, you better start buying tickets, dude, because it's wonderful. I'm gonna make some videos about that soon, but I'm telling you, you think you know Formula One until you go to a Formula One race. So, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, or just hang out again. Enjoy your drink, lights out, away we go. See ya.